I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, let's do a quick follow-up on the blog I did about a month and a half ago on that cooling off period. So as we speak here, we're into April here, going into May, we're in May now. It turns out, it looks like this is going to go through. I can't believe it. I'm baffled by this. No consultation with the real estate boards, the Real Estate Council of BC, nothing. This is all getting pushed through by our finance minister, Selena Robinson. You know, what her background is in finance or what her background is in real estate. Can somebody tell me? Because I'm pretty certain it's pretty close to zero. She definitely doesn't have any idea of how the process of buying and selling real estate works. The reason I know that is because she keeps pushing this cooling off period because they have it in pre-sale. So it must be good for the resale market when the pre-sale and resale market are completely night and day. You know, in pre-sale, a corporation has got 300 units they're selling out of a display center. Pretty different than me selling a 2-bedroom Yaletown condo from Jack and Mary Smith. If the pre-sale doesn't go through, they have to have a 7-day rescission period. If not, you have to read the disclosure statement. And if it doesn't go through, no big deal. They just put it back in the pool and they'll sell it next weekend. Totally different. But I'm going to make this quick here. You know, they're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. And go back, I'll maybe post a link to the blog I did 6 weeks ago where I go into great detail on the problems with this cooling off period. But it really makes absolutely no sense. You know, the recent poll here, only 35% of British Columbians approve of a cooling off period. And that even, I think, is high. Because there's two parties to a sale, a seller and a buyer. Well, all the sellers don't want this. Why would they? They have to sell their home and then get a firm deal and then wait 7 days for the buyer to decide, I don't really like the house anymore. I'm just going to walk away from it. You know, they're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. You know, the Real Estate Council and the board have come up with a solution, and it's a good one. They've said that instead of a cooling off period, let's just build in a 7-day, guaranteed 7-day holdback period, which means it will list the home and we are not going to look at offers until the following week. Well, that would be great. I already do that with all my homes. I've blogged about this many times. I never sell a home with 1 or 2 days on market. I'm going to list it, show it for 7, 8, 9 days, and then look at offers. This would solve the problem. They also want to include that all the strata documents will be available right on day one when it gets listed. Again, another great idea. I already do that as well. I order the strata documents and have them by the time the unit gets listed or the home gets listed. This would solve all the problems. You've now got a week or 8 days to read all the docs, get a pre-inspection, whatever, before offer night. You know, the other thing is if you're being rushed or you're afraid, you don't want to write an offer subject free, all cash offer with no home inspection, then for God's sake, you don't have to write the offer with subjects. You know, it's really ridiculous that they're pushing this through. I mean, the other poll that they had here was 70% of consumers think that realtors should be consulted on real estate policy changes. For sure we should, but we were not consulted in any way with this cooling off period. And it looks like they're pushing through with this. So the Real Estate Council and the boards have come up with some much better solutions than a cooling off period. Are they listening, the NDP? Probably not. And it's probably going to go through. This is, you know, typical of government. They have to make it look like they're doing something. Let's put out another hoop and hurdle here to go through. We'll see what happens. It's still not enacted yet. It won't be till maybe this summer. I'm not going to get too worked up about it. If it happens, it happens. It's not going to make any difference to my business. I do feel for some sellers, though. It's going to be another thing that I'm going to have to consult them on. That, hey, Mr. Seller, you know, we're going to get this offer and it could be subject free, or it could, once the subjects get removed, we're still not there yet. We've got to wait now 7 days to let them cool off, to maybe change their mind, maybe not. We still have to see what the penalty is going to be if a buyer does walk on this. It better be substantial. It's not going to be, you know, $1,000 or $2,000. In my opinion, it should be either the full deposit amount or at least half the deposit amount, $10,000, $20,000. But again, there's no need for this cooling off period. If you don't, as I said in my last video, if you're being pressured to write an offer on a home, then walk away, get a new realtor if that's the situation. But the other thing is writing subject free for my clients is a pretty safe bet. We've got the financing in place and we're doing our homework on this unit before we buy it. We've read all the strata documents. I probably know the strata. Or every year I'll do a couple of pre-inspections representing buyers, and on the listing side I get pre-inspections on my detached properties all the time. Do an inspection before offer night. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.